Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Parikshit Luthra. Here are the headlines we are tracking this evening.
We have 38,000 stores globally. Our plan is to get to 55,000 stores over the course of the next 5 years, with 3 out of the 4 stores being outside of the US. India will also have a big role in this.
Starbucks CEO Lakshman Narasimhan breaks down the coffee giant's triple shot reinvention strategy, says it includes getting to 55,000 stores in the next 5 years, with 3 out of 4 stores outside the United States. The strategy also includes brand elevation and digital scaling. That's an exclusive.
You look at markets like India, we're just getting started. So we're going to take India, what we make here, what we produce here, and also have it show up around the world. And it's a way of taking India to the world.
We're just getting started in India, says Starbucks global CEO Lakshman Narasimhan. Hopes to launch a store every 3 days, says that Starbucks will source more via their joint venture with Tata Coffee, with the target of taking India to the world. Sensex and Nifty end marginally in the green after a late sell-off wipes out most of the gains. Financials lead the decline. Traditional automakers gain ground in the electric vehicle race. Bajaj Auto more than doubles its EV market share in 2023 and is the third in the pecking order. TVS Motor sees steady growth and is second behind Ola in terms of market share. United and Alaska Airlines find loose hardware during inspections of Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes. The US regulator grounded several jets after a panel blew out mid-air on an Alaska Airlines flight, leading to cancellation of multiple flights. The government is likely to rejig the Pharma PLI scheme, including new drug raw materials, to allocated the unused 1,655 crores. The proposal is likely to be taken up by the cabinet soon, and a budget announcement is likely. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrives in Tel Aviv to push Israel to scale back the assault on Gaza and stop the war from spreading. Israeli drone strike in southern Lebanon kills 3 Hezbollah commanders, stoking further tensions. The CEO of an artificial intelligence startup has been arrested after the body of her 4-year-old son was found in luggage. Suchna Seth held by the police in Goa on the suspicion of murder and sent to police custody. Prime Minister Modi meets top global CEOs in Gandhinagar on the eve of vibrant Gujarat Investor Summit. Prime Minister holds a roadshow with the President of the UAE as he arrives to attend the summit. 34-year-old Gabriel Attal becomes the youngest Prime Minister of France. French President Emmanuel Macron reshuffles his cabinet to give a fresh impetus to his second and final term. Attal is also the first openly gay Prime Minister of France. 2023 smashes the record for the hottest year by a huge margin, according to scientists in the European Union. The planet was 1.48 degrees Celsius hotter in 23 compared to the period before the mass burning of fossil fuels. The figure is very close to the 1.5 degrees Celsius target set in 2015 Paris Climate Agreement. And straight to the market action. A late sell-off wiped out most of the gains, with Sensex and Nifty ending marginally in the green. Financials led the decline, with the Nifty Bank Index losing over 200 points. Mid-cap index managed to eke out marginal gains. Crude oil prices are recovering after a 4% drop overnight. Oil prices declined after Saudi Arabia slashed the prices for Asian market to its lowest level in 27 months. Higher output from countries like Iran, Angola and Nigeria offset production cuts from Saudi Arabia and led to a decline in prices. Now, shares of Zee Entertainment declined in trade after a Bloomberg report claimed that Sony plans to call off the proposed $10 billion merger. However, Zee has denied these reports, calling them baseless and factually incorrect. Zee also claimed that the company is continuing to work towards successfully closing the merger. The Bloomberg report stating that Sony does not want Puneet Goenka to remain at the helm of the merged entity. Moving on, shares of Bajaj Auto rallied in trade after the company confirmed a 4,000 crore rupees buyback. Bajaj Auto has offered to buy each share at 10,000 rupees. This is a premium of over 40%. The stock price hit an all-time high in trade today. All right, moving on to the big newsmaker this evening. The new global CEO of Starbucks, Lakshman Narasimhan, has a triple-shot reinvention strategy to propel growth. Narasimhan is almost 1 year into his job at the helm of Starbucks. He spoke to Shireen Ban at a Starbucks outlet in Pune, which also happens to be Narasimhan's hometown. He's planning to take Starbucks even more global by opening 17,000 new stores in the next 5 years. 75% of these new stores will be opened outside the United States. The triple-shot reinvention strategy also includes brand elevation and digital scaling. Narasimhan also said that India will play a pivotal role in the global expansion, and Starbucks is ambitiously focusing on scaling up coffee it sources from India.
From McKinsey to Pepsi to Reckitt and now Starbucks, Lakshman Narasimhan has seen a steaming rise to the top of an iconic American brand. Stepping into the shoes of the legendary Howard Schultz is daunting, but Narasimhan is taking each day cup by cup and store by store. Almost a year in, he's stirring up his strategy to make Starbucks even more global, doubling down on digitization and ensuring that the iconic coffee chain becomes much more of a lifestyle brand.
So where would you see India in the global pecking order when it comes to revenue contribution to Starbucks? I mean, the lion's share still is the US and China today. But what do you see over the next 5 to 10 years in terms of India's contribution?
Well, China's 10 or less than 10% of the overall revenues for us globally. The US is obviously a lion's size of it, but we actually have a lot of other markets. We're in 86 countries. You could recognize the potential and the headroom we have in all of them as we build out this third leg of the stool. India's at about 400 stores, but we have 38,000 stores globally. Our plan is to get to 55,000 stores over the course of the next 5 years, with 3 out of the 4 stores being outside of the US. India will also have a big role in this. We have the potential to make it even bigger in what we do, how we connect with our customers, but also how we reimagine the factory in the back while delivering the theater in the front, the theater that you saw. The third thing we have is truly global, and this is where India comes in too. We have a big leg in the US. We've, of course, grown several stores in China, but the rest of the world has huge potential for us. Even in markets like Western Europe, we have headroom. You look at markets like India, we're just getting started. So we will be truly global. 3 out of 4 stores that we build over the next 5 years will be outside the US. Those 3 things are really important, and to that context, we need to obviously fund this. So efficiency helps us do it. It helps us build the capabilities that really reinforce this business.
Well, since we are here in India, let's talk about your India plans and your joint venture with the Tatas. Well, close to 400 stores in India. What do you see that number being over the next few years? Give me a sense of the kind of expansion we should expect.
In Coorg, the Tatas and us have a joint venture. We work very much on farming and how we improve the quality of the coffee crop. We have a joint venture with Tata Coffee on roasting here in India. It's very important to build the back end and to build the back end really, really well. And my hope and ambition is that we fundamentally scale up even further the coffee we source from India. So if you look at the new launch we're going to have this year, early this year here in India, it's going to be the Starbucks Reserved Monsooned Malabar. That's a tremendous blend. I drank it actually the other day. This is going to be in all US stores in the middle of the year. So we're going to take India, what we make here, what we produce here, and also have it show up around the world. And it's a way of taking India to the world.
And you can catch the entire conversation with Starbucks CEO Lakshman Narasimhan on Global Dialogues at 9:30 p.m. right here on CNBC TV 18. Moving on, traditional automakers have gained ground in the electric vehicle race. Bajaj Auto is now third in the pecking order after its EV market share more than doubled in 23. The auto major now aims to achieve a production capacity of 20,000 electric two-wheelers. TVS Motor also posted a steady growth despite a marginal dip in sales and is second behind Ola in terms of market share. And staying with the electric vehicle space, the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion has requested the Heavy Industries Ministry to consider lowering GST on hybrid vehicles. Sources have told CNBC TV18 that car makers, including Maruti and Toyota, have been urging the government to reduce tax, citing that hybrid cars are more fuel efficient and reduce emissions. Currently, the cess and GST on hybrid cars stands at 43%, while the GST for electric vehicles is just 5%. And staying with the automobile sector, Israel-based chip company Mobileye has inked a deal with Mahindra & Mahindra to supply advanced driver assistance technology. In a statement, Mobileye said that this technology will be supplied for Mahindra's next-generation vehicles. However, financial details of the deal has not been disclosed as yet. Less than 3 weeks to go for the interim budget. Sources tell us that the government may rejig the existing Pharma PLI scheme. An announcement may be expected in the budget. Timsi Japuria tells us more on what to expect.
Well, sources say government is soon likely to rejig the Pharma PLI scheme, and as per the rejig plan, the government is likely to include new drug raw materials to allocate the unused 1,655 crore rupees. The new active pharmaceutical ingredients, key starting materials and drug intermediaries are likely to include vitamins, anti-diabetic and anticoagulant drugs. Sources further say that the proposal is likely to be soon taken up by the cabinet and reallocation will be part of the interim budget. The move comes on the back of the fact that as many as 8 APIs, drug intermediaries and key starting materials could not find any takers under the existing scheme. Remember, government had earmarked 6,940 crore rupees for Pharma PLI. Until now, funds allocated are 5,285 crore rupees. Now, the list of key starting materials, drug intermediaries and APIs with no takers include erythromycin, neomycin, gentamicin, ciprofloxacin, etc. So let's see how soon this proposal finds its feet among the Union Cabinet and, yes, finally at the interim budget. Back to you.
All right. And speaking of PLI schemes, Textile Secretary Rachna Shah said the government is expecting investments worth around 19,000 crore rupees under the PLI scheme to promote man-made fibre, apparel and technical textiles. Speaking to CNBC TV18's Abhimari Sharma, the secretary also said that of the 64 participating companies, 30 have made significant progress.
The scheme is in its gestation period right now, and there are 64 participating companies, and they have started setting up their manufacturing facilities and putting their equipment, etc. in place. We are very hopeful that the production and manufacturing would start very shortly, and after they are able to achieve the required turnover, they will be able to take the incentive under the scheme.
All right. Latest on the inspections of Boeing MAX 9 planes. Both Alaska Airlines and United Airlines have found loose hardware on some of their MAX 9 planes during preliminary inspections. Alaska Airlines has cancelled more than 300 flights since Friday as the concerned fleet undergoes inspection. United Airlines has also cancelled 270 flights due to groundings. 3 Indian airlines, including Akasa, Air India Express and SpiceJet, operate the Boeing MAX aircraft, but none of them fly the MAX 9 plane. The Director General of Civil Aviation said inspections on 39 of the 40 MAX planes showed that only one aircraft had a missing washer and it is being rectified. The remaining one aircraft will also undergo inspection before returning to service. And staying with the aviation sector, passengers flying with Indigo will have to shell out more now for booking a seat of their choice. According to the airline's revised pricing, on a plane with 222 seats, the window and aisle seats in the front row will cost 2,000 rupees more than the ticket cost. The middle seat in the same row will cost an additional 1,500 rupees. All seats in the second and third row will cost 400 rupees more, and while the 18th and 28th row will cost 1,500 rupees more than the ticket price. So those are prices going up for all Indigo passengers. Moving on, the CEO of an artificial intelligence startup has been arrested on the suspicion of murder. Suchna Seth, the head of Bengaluru-based Mindful AI Labs, was sent to police custody for 6 days after the body of her son was found in her luggage. Yesha Kotak is here with more details on that.
As chilling details about the alleged murder of a 4-year-old child in Goa comes to forth, Goa police has arrested 39-year-old CEO of an artificial intelligence company, Suchna Seth, in this case. It has been alleged that Suchna Seth in fact murdered her child and Goa. Both of them were staying in a hotel at Kandolim. This was in fact in the hotel room 404 number in Kandolim area. On January 6th was when both of them had checked in inside the hotel room. But on January 8th night, approximately at 1 a.m., once Suchashna Sheth, she said that she wanted to check out from the hotel room. She also asked the hotel authorities to book a cab for her. Despite the fact that it was easier for her to travel by flight, this was a recommendation that was given by the hotel authorities. She insisted on a cab. She took this cab, wherein with her luggage, she checked out around 1 a.m. on January 8th, late in the night. Early on January 8th in the morning, around 10 a.m. was when the local police station was informed by the housekeeping staff that there were some red stains, which prima facie cops later on found out were blood stains that were found from the hotel room. Cops eventually ended up going and contacting the driver, the cab driver who was taking Shashna all the way from Goa to Karnataka, and she was taken to the nearest police station, that is at Ayamangal police station, where her Panchnama was done, her properties were seized, and in the bag was found the body of a child. As of now, the body has been sent for postmortem, and further investigation is underway. Cops are also have sought 6 days of custody of Suchashna Sheth, wherein further investigation would be done.
The case is in the initial stage of investigation, so it requires more efforts to confirm what is the motive. बट प्राइमा फेसी जब लेडी से हमारे इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग ऑफिसर्स ने बातचीत की तो उन्होंने ये बोला कि उनके हस्बैंड के साथ जो रिलेशनशिप है दैट इज़ नॉट गुड. इनके डाइवर्स प्रोसीडिंग्स ऑलमोस्ट फाइनलाइज भी हुआ है एंड देयर वाज सम कोर्ट ऑर्डर बिकॉज ऑफ विच शी वाज वेरी अनहैप्पी.
Right, definitely a very tragic story coming in. Onto a CNBC TV 18 exclusive now. Shares of cable manufacturer Polycab declined over 9% after the income tax department accused the company of tax evasion worth 200 crore rupees. Sources tell CNBC TV 18 that the department has asked promoters for an explanation after detecting suspicious transactions worth 250 to 300 crore rupees. However, Polycab has denied any wrongdoing and says that it has received no updates on the searches conducted in December. Moving on, Samsung has highlighted a sixth consecutive quarter of declining profits for the fourth quarter of 23. The South Korean electronic giant said that its profit dipped by 35% year-on-year on the back of subdued consumer demand. Ride-hailing company Blue Smart will introduce a new pricing structure on the platform, including surge pricing. This pricing format will be applicable only to customers who book their services during rush hour, which is between 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. The decision comes after transport departments of various states, including the Delhi Transport Department, met representatives of the ride-hailing firms to review surge pricing. The Gurugram-based app had earlier promised that the company would function on a zero cancellation and zero surge pricing policy. And speaking of ride-hailing apps, Uber India reported a 54% rise in operating revenue in FY23 on a yearly basis. This was largely led by strong pickup in business and growth in its support and services verticals. However, the company's losses widened nearly 59% to 311 crore rupees as a majority chunk of its expenses went towards employee benefits. And moving on, Microsoft's $13 billion investment in OpenAI could potentially face a probe by the European Union. The European antitrust regulator has said that it will examine whether Microsoft's investment in OpenAI might be reviewable under the EU merger regulation. The regulator will also look into agreements that have been made between digital market players and generative AI developers. And coming up on India Business Hour, ahead of the Ram Temple inauguration, authorities are betting on the Ayodhya Haat as a major tourist attraction to boost local economy. A special report coming up. And you can also catch all CNBC TV 18 news and updates on Facebook's X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. You're watching India Business Hour. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Tel Aviv to push Israel to scale back the assault on Gaza and stop the war from spreading. His visit comes amid Israeli drone strike in southern Lebanon that killed 3 Hezbollah commanders, stoking further tensions. Blinken has also said that 4 Arab nations and Turkey have agreed to start planning for reconstruction and governance in Gaza once Israel's war against Hamas comes to an end. This is Blinken's 4th trip to Middle East since the Israel-Hamas conflict began in October last year. 34-year-old Gabriel Attal has become the youngest Prime Minister of France. French President Emmanuel Macron has reshuffled his cabinet to give a fresh impetus to his second and final term. Attal is also the first openly gay Prime Minister of France. 2023 has smashed the record for the hottest year by a huge margin. According to scientists in the European Union, the planet was 1.48 degrees Celsius hotter in 23 compared to the period before the mass burning of fossil fuels. The figure is very close to the 1.5 degrees Celsius target set in the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement. Tesla and SpaceX founder Elon Musk said he would like to take drugs if they boost his productivity. His comments were in response to a Wall Street Journal report that said top executives from his companies, Tesla and SpaceX, expressed concern over his drug use. The report claimed Musk has indulged in taking magic mushrooms, LSD, cocaine, ecstasy, and psychedelic drugs. Musk denied these claims, saying no drugs were ever detected in his system over 3 years of random drug testing. And should a multi-billion-dollar business be controlled by a family or professionals? In a recent interview with CNBC TV 18, Infosys co-founder Narayana Murthy revealed that he regrets his decision of keeping his wife Sudha Murthy and family out of the company. Murthy said he was wrongly idealistic while expressing his regret. Bharat Forge's Baba Kalyani believes it's good to involve the family in the business, saying it adds a lot of support. His son Amit Kalyani is now the joint MD at Bharat Forge.
I had this feeling that good corporate governance means not bringing family into it. I think what I was doing those days was wrong. I was wrongly idealistic, and in some way I think I was influenced a lot by the environment of those days.
We're talking about family business versus whether people from family should be in business or not. You're taking Mr. Murthy's example. I'm glad that my son, I have only one child, so I'm glad that my son is there with me, because it's also a lot of support to have your family in business, especially if they are engaged, they are qualified, they know what they are doing, and they have a vision what they want to achieve.
Prime Minister Modi met top global CEOs in Gandhinagar on the eve of Vibrant Gujarat Investor Summit. These included Micron CEO, Suzuki President and AP Moller Maersk CEO, among others. Later in the evening, Prime Minister, along with UAE President, held a 3-kilometer-long roadshow from Ahmedabad Airport to Gandhinagar. The UAE President, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, is the chief guest at the Vibrant Gujarat Summit. In more national news, residents of Dehradun's Jhajra area were evacuated after a chlorine gas leakage from one of the cylinders kept in an empty plot. Officials say there have been no casualties, but residents faced breathing issues following the leak. 26 para-athletes were honored with Arjuna Awards for their outstanding contribution in sports. The prominent names include cricketer Mohammad Shami, para-archer Sheetal Devi and long jumper Murli Sri Shankar. All right, that indeed is the best news of the day. Moving on now to some national news coming in from Uttar Pradesh. The Ayodhya development authorities are betting on the soon-to-be inaugurated Ram Temple to give a fillip to the local economy. Today, we turn the focus on Ayodhya Haat, a tourist destination which the authorities say will showcase the best of UP's cuisine and culture. Shivani Bazaz filed the story.
Well, while the Ram Mandir is going to be the main center of attraction in the Ayodhya city, authorities have taken multiple initiatives to make Ayodhya a proper tourist destination. 10 minutes away from the main Ram temple, right now where I'm standing, is called the Ayodhya Haat, another ambitious project by the Ayodhya Development Authority to attract tourists to Ayodhya. Now, as you can look behind me, a string of similar looking shops that are standing here 10 minutes away on the Chaudhry Charan Singh Ghat on the Saryu River. On the lines of Delhi Haat in New Delhi that has stalls from across the country, Ayodhya Haat will showcase the best of Uttar Pradesh. Currently, most of these shops are shut, but they're likely to open closer to the inauguration day. Shopkeepers who have opened their stalls here are seeing little business, but they are hopeful that once the tourists start coming in, they will see big gains.
यहाँ तो काफ़ी बिजनेस बढ़ेगा क्योंकि आने वाले समय में राम मंदिर का उद्घाटन होगा, काफ़ी पब्लिक आएंगे, यहाँ पर काफ़ी लोग दर्शन करने के लिए आएंगे, तो यहाँ पर इसीलिए दुकान बनाई गई है कि भीड़ भाड़ ना होने पाए और ये खाने पीने के लिए पूरी यहाँ से वहाँ तक दुकान शॉप बनाई हुई है।
पहले एक्चुअली यहाँ ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, इस बार जो कदम रखा है ऐसा लग रहा है कि प्रभु राम अपने महल में आ चुके हैं। बस 22 तारीख को बड़ी ही कार्यक्रम होना है और तैयारी बहुत जोर शोर चल रही है।
अयोध्या जान लीजिए एकदम महल हो गया है, ठीक है, और अब तो दुकान 22 तारीख आने पे दुकान तो चमक जाएगा और यहाँ का पब्लिक ही चमक जाएंगे सब लोग।
पूरी अयोध्या बदल गई। लोग कहते थे कि क्या चमका देंगे, ये चमक गया, मोदी जी ने इसको चमका दिया।
Well, the Ayodhya Haat is still under construction, but the plans on the paper sound exciting. Not just shops and food stalls, the Ayodhya Haat will also have cottages which will be called the Ram Kutir and also laser light show. A jetty on the ghat and the musical fountain show are also in the plans. The construction to complete Ayodhya Haat are in full swing, but as we can see, it will take some more time to come into its full glory. Authorities are expecting this place to be a big push for the local economy in Ayodhya. With Vijay Lakshman Singh, this is Shivani Bazaz for CNBC TV 18.
And you tune in for Shivani Bazaz's half-an-hour show, special program on Ayodhya and what will the Ram Temple inauguration and the heavy tourist footfalls do for the Ayodhya economy and the UP economy as well. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. But before we go, we pay our tributes to music maestro Ustad Rashid Khan, who passed away today at the age of 55. He was battling prostate cancer and was undergoing treatment in Kolkata. The classical singer was honoured with the Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri and the Sangeet Natak Academy Award during his illustrious musical career.